IDC dancers and families. Here we are starting our week 2 of our virtual dance classes. I hope again that you are all still very healthy. This will probably be my last video taped in the studio for a while because I want to adhere to the governor's directive to stay in place. So I will be doing my future ones from home, which is fine. That's probably where you're going to be doing all of these exercises as well. So I wanted to finish up our floor series. There's 4 more leg exercises, and I'm going to go through 2 of them with verbal descriptions, and then I'll make a separate video with the other 2, and then we're going to go through the whole sequence from the very beginning. So this exercise works on the larger rotator muscles, which are the gluteals, which are the big muscles that make up your buttocks. It's going to look a lot like fitness exercises. I'll show you a couple that it might look like. You'll notice that I've taken my roll from the previous exercise, and now I'm going to use it to support my head so that my neck is long, and I'm not either pushing it up by doing this, and I'm not letting it drop, but I'm feeling that nice long line in my body. Now, a few different exercises this might look like. There's a fitness one that goes like this, where you just lift the leg over and over again. And then there's another one where you're on your hands and knees and we do this. We're gonna modify that exercise because if you notice when I was doing that, my hip is really swinging. It's going up and down. Also, my back is getting a little bit shorter as I don't control that. But what we want, as we're using the gluteal muscles to help rotate the legs and stabilize our alignment, is we don't want that hip to either be going, let me show it this way. We don't want the hip to be crunching up this way. We want to keep a nice long back. And we also don't want the hip, how can I show you this? We don't want the hip to be swinging back when we lift. We want to keep the hip right in place. So we want to train our bodies to have strength, but also have a lot of stability in the hips. So that is what this exercise is all about. So over on our side, I'm going to go slightly diagonal so you can see. I'm going to have my hand on my hip, and I'm going to actively push down that hip bone so that my hip doesn't ride up as I lift my leg, but I keep it really long. Now I have my knees pointing straight out. So this is a 90-degree angle right here between my torso and my thigh. I'm going to extend the other leg right on top of that. So that's coming straight out from my hip at a 90-degree angle. Now to start, I'm going to pull my hip back a little bit, so I am going out of alignment. And I'm doing that so that I can really feel the difference as I push it forward and I see my foot move forward along the floor. Then I lift the foot 2, 3, 4 without allowing this hip to rock back. I'm pushing that hip forward against the pressure of the leg lifting. I bring it down. To release everything, I just rock it back. I push the hip forward. You see my foot move forward on the floor. I lift 2, 3, 4. I bring it down, relax the foot on the floor, and pull it back. We're going to do 8 slow like that, and then we would do 8 quicker. Once we do the quicker ones, we don't pull back in between. We simply bring the hip forward. We've done our last slow one. We come down and continuing to press that hip forward, we're going to do 12, if you can, leg lifts in a quicker tempo, and then we're going to rest and do the other side. After we do both sides, we're going to do a stretch. The stretch can be done in 2 ways. One really nice way is just to cross the legs like you would cross if you're sitting in a chair. Reach over if you can to this knee. If you can't, grabbing this knee is fine too. If you can reach here, sorry, let me get that out of the way. You just pull them in and pull, use your arms to pull in enough that you feel a stretch in that buttocks that you just worked. So it's the one that's away from you that I'm stretching. It's that front leg that's crossed. That's the hip I'm feeling the stretch in. If you don't feel it by pulling in this way, you can always switch it slightly to the side if you like. Now, if for any reason that's not comfortable, it should be for everyone, the alternate way to stretch would be to sit up, Cross the legs over. This is actually a more powerful stretch. So you might want to start with the other one and then move on to this one. And then if you can, you relax the body over to stretch, and you want to make sure you stay relaxed. Then after we finish all of that exercise, we'll go back to our position with our legs out. And actually for this exercise, I like to get my heels exposed, because sometimes in the rotation, this is a very difficult exercise, and sometimes in the rotation for this exercise, it's easy for the heel to slip. So by exposing my heel, I have a little more grip on the floor. We start the same way, where we're going to be in one long line, but instead of having the knees up, I actually have a straight line. Make sure you're not piped, but the legs are all the way back in line. And then in that position, it is a little hard to hold. You can put a hand in front if you want. We're going to swing the top leg forward. I'm going to go straight on so you can see that this leg is straight out from my hip. Okay, it's not down here and it's not over above that position. It is directly out from my hip. Two parts to this exercise. Well, actually maybe more than that, but we'll start. So again, I'm holding my hip. I have weight in this foot so that I am stable. I'm not trying to balance. I have weight in this foot. I have my head propped up so my neck is long and in line. I'm pushing down on my hip, really important here, because we will tend to want to rock the hip up and down, but we're trying to isolate our rotating leg. This is my rotating leg in this exercise. I'm going to turn it out. Then without letting this leg turn in, I'm going to lift the bottom leg just a little to create resistance. I'm going to lower it, and I'm going to turn this leg in. Then I'm going to turn this leg out. I'm going to lift a little bit with the bottom leg. Don't lift so far that this leg turns in. This is the most important thing. We're working this rotation. Here, that leg is secondary, creating a little resistance. We're going to bring it down, and this is the place where your hip's going to want to rise when you turn in, so don't let it come up. Keep that hip pressed down so you're really feeling this rotation right in the hip here. One more time to demonstrate. Turn out, lift the leg underneath, lower the leg, and turn in. Once we've done 8 slow, and you could of course just do 4 and then rest for 4, you're going to turn out, and we're going to keep this rotation the whole time. We do 8 quicker lifts in a flexed foot position and 8 quicker lifts in a pointed foot position before we finish. Then we'll do the other side, and then after that again we'll stretch. So 2 parts to the stretch. First part, you're going to let your legs turn in a little bit because we just worked those rotators really hard, and if you want a little extra pressure, you can just cross the arms. If this hurts your knees at all, please do not do it. When we're in a bent knee position, the lower leg can over-rotate a little, and we don't want to put pressure on the knee that way. Then once we stretch this way, and it's a very subtle stretch, it might not feel like anything at all, but it will be stretching. Then we're going to take our big stretch in second, because the secondary part of this exercise was that leg lift with the inner thigh. So then we're going to stretch that on your own. And that's it for leg exercises 3 and 4.